Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Our today's topic is discrete time signals. Basically, a signal is a physical quantity which contains some information and which is function of one or more independent variables. Signals could be classified into various types, but today we are just focusing on the discrete time signals. So let's start. Discrete time signals is a signal represented at discrete intervals of time. So here is the graph. You can see that at the discrete intervals here only points are shown. So generally the y-axis represents the amplitude and the x-axis represents the time. So at discrete intervals we are having at discrete intervals of time, when we join the dots we get a graph like this. So this signal is known as discrete time signal, and if the signal is represented at continuous interval of time, so it is known as the continuous time signal. So here it is represented like this. So the difference between them is that it is continuous and it is having the discrete values, individual values. You have to keep in mind that when you are showing the continuous time signal, the x-axis, that is time, is represented as t, and if it is a discrete time signal then it is represented as n. So I hope you understood the discrete time signal. Now let us see how it is represented. So representation of the discrete time signals. This could be done into three types. Like we can use represent the discrete time signal as functional representation, tabular representation, or sequence representation. So let us take a small example. So a discrete time signal sequence is denoted by x of n. So consider an example. Suppose we are plotting the signal. Since it is discrete time signal, then the x-axis is represented by n, and here there is the amplitude. So let's plot. So these are the samples, and here are its amplitude. So this is a discrete time signal. Which is denoted by x of n. So now we will see that how it is represented in these three various forms. So let's start from the functional representation. So here, let me first tell you that these are the sample points, and yeah. So here are the sample points. So if someone asks you the length of the signal, then you can count all the sample points. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are total 6 sample points. Therefore, the length of the signal is 6. So first we'll study about the functional representation. So generally it is represented as the x of n is equals to the amplitude comma the points. So first let's see all the amplitudes. Generally, so the amplitude is this, that is -1 to 1. So these are the amplitudes. So let's write 2, 1, 0 and -1. And now let's see the points. So points can be represented as where is the amplitude 2? So at point 1. So n is equals to 1. Where is the amplitude 1? So amplitude 1 is at point -2, 0 and 3. So here n is equals to -2, 0 and 3. Then where the amplitude is 0? At point 2. So n is equals to 2. So where is point -1? It is at the point -1. So n is equals to -1. So here this is the functional representation of the discrete time signal. Next is tabular representation. So second is tabular representation. So here we have to represent the signal using a table. So the table contains the following: the sample points and the amplitude. So the sample points can be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And the values it is having at that particular point are 1, -1, then 1, that is 1, -1, 1 again, then 2, then 0, and then at the last 1. So this is simple. So here it can be represented as the tabular form. And last is, third is sequence representation. So here generally we write x of n is equals to, in parenthesis, all the sample points amplitude, not the sample point but their amplitudes. So value of xn are 1, -1, 1, 2, 0, and 1. So if any of the one amongst these are given, then we can convert it into one another. Like if suppose the sequence is given and we have to convert it into the tabular form, then we can convert. And yeah, one more thing, we have to wherever the point is, the sample point is 0, that is here, we have to represent it by an arrow. So wherever it starts, then it is the 0th point, and then other goes like a normal number line. So this point is 0th, then this is -1, -2, 1, 2, and 3. So these are the following points. And if the arrow is not present, for example, let's suppose that x of n is equals to 1, 3, 0, -4, and here the arrow is not given, so we take it as a default. So here would be the arrow. So this is 0th point, this is first, second, and third. So as following it goes. So now coming back here, when we have to so these all are interconvertible. We can use functional representation to plot a graph, or to convert into tabular form, or sequence representation, and so it follows for all the three. I hope you got this. Now there are some small points which are remaining. Like I would add that here the samples. So these are all these sample, that is in sequence representation. These are the samples. Now if someone asks you to determine its length, then you have to count the number of points. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the length of the sequence is 6. And next is, that is for we can increase or decrease, we can increase the length of the sequence. Like if there is a sequence n1 which can be represented as 1, 2, 3, and here is the sequence n2 which is 2, 4, then we can equalize the length. So the rule for this is, you can add number of zeros in the end or at the beginning. So x of n2 can also be written as 0, 2, 4. So the length of x of n1 and like x of n2 are equal. And here inside the parenthesis, when we represent any sample, the numbers written are amplitude. So keep in mind, they are amplitude and not the sample points. And the thing which we did now is known as zero padding. That is, to adjust the length of the sequence, we can add any number of zeros at the beginning or at the end of the sequence. So this is known as zero padding. I hope you got this. And I told you about the arrows. Wherever the n is equals to 0, we have to point the arrow at that location. Hope you got the discrete time signal. Thank you.